Hi guys, my name is Tom. I'm today with Michael. Michael is our lead mobile developer, and we will talk today mainly about Xamarin technology. And we prepared a few questions here. So let's start. Michael, many people don't understand that in Xamarin we have two different approaches for development. One is Xamarin Native, and the second one, the new one, let's say something more modern, is Xamarin Forms. Yeah, and for many people, only Xamarin Forms is the only way how we can develop in Xamarin, but it's not true. So if you could tell us what is the biggest difference between Xamarin Native and Xamarin Forms approach from your perspective?
So in Xamarin Native, we can create app using basic controls on different platforms, for example, iOS or Android.
So we use the normal approach as we do it when we develop in native way.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have the same access to the user interface.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
But on Xamarin Forms, we have something more.
Mm-hmm.
We have some controls prepared from Xamarin group
Okay.
that we can use in one code, and these controls are created on both platforms.
Okay. So in Xamarin Forms we have additional layer
Mm-hmm.
where we use the same, let's say, controls which are generated on each platform later as user interface.
Yes.
Something like this. Okay, and so when we develop application with Xamarin Native, we have probably better access to user interface layer, and we can create more fancy layouts,
Yes.
more advanced. Okay, good.
More
So
specific
Mhm.
to the platform. We can use very specific controls for platform.
okay, we can say that native way, for example, using MVVM cross in Xamarin Native, we have better control over whole interface, everything, than in Xamarin Forms, which is more close to hybrid technologies like Ionic, like React Native.
Yes, we can say that.
Okay, good. So let's go to the question number 2. And the question number 2 is, what is the main difference between Xamarin and between native development?
Okay, so like the guy who created Xamarin says, Xamarin is native.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that the Xamarin is run on the processor. We don't use some code behind Xamarin code and the processor.
Okay.
So it's native. The big difference is that we can use C# language
Okay.
to create application for both platform, for example for iOS and Android.
Mm-hmm.
So we can reuse code on both platform, and this is the biggest change that we can if we create the application on iOS, on Android, in native way.
Okay, so if I understand it correct, when we use Xamarin approach, then we have C# language, so we have one language for both platforms. Still, we have the same access to user interface like in native way,
Yes.
but we don't have to use Java or Kotlin on Android and Objective-C or Swift on iOS. So we can save time, we can save money, but
Yes.
from the user perspective, we can create everything what we can do when we use native technologies.
Yes.
Okay, but this is when we use Xamarin Native, like Xamarin MVVM cross approach. If we do it with Xamarin Forms, then it's not so. It's also possible,
Yes.
but regarding user interface, we have more, let's say, we are not able to do as many things with user interface like in Xamarin Native.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, good. And the question number 3, if because Xamarin technology is quite, we shouldn't say old, yeah, but it is on the market for many years, and some time ago it was overtaken by Microsoft. So this is very mature technology. And how could you compare it with, let's say, newer technologies like Flutter, like React Native? Yes, some people says that no, we are not going with Xamarin because it's old. We will develop something with React Native or Flutter. Yeah. So how could you compare it, Xamarin with React Native, for example, or with Flutter?
So, like I said before, the Xamarin is native, so it's run on the processor. If I should compare to the Flutter, Flutter is very similar because we use Dart language to write code, and I don't know what exactly it works, but it can be very similar. We don't have some kind of framework to run Flutter code, but the other technology like React, they use some kind of framework to run our code.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be very good. Maybe it's good to create a sample app, but to create a long-term supported app, it's not a good way.
Yeah, as you said, and one of examples is Airbnb, and they developed their application in React Native, and after a few years they decided to switch to the native way because application was too big, and it was very hard to maintain it with React Native. So from our perspective and our project, React Native is also very good technology, but for specific projects. Yeah. So if you need to deliver something fast, something what is not complicated, and if your developers are well skilled in JavaScript, in CSS, then probably it's better to go with React Native. And of course, we also do such projects. If you need to have something big, developed, and maintained in long-term perspective, then in many cases Xamarin is better.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And bye.